Up on Mount Crumpet, the Grinch lived in a cold cavern. Only one friend, no party and no tavern. Instead, he was scheming of coal sails to Whoville. They would need it in shed loads because of the chill. Back down in Whoville, not everyone was asleep as they ought. Young Cindy Lou Who was awake and thinking a thought. As she looked out at the wind pushing snow with great haste, she couldn't help but think all that push was a waste. After considerable reflection, our Cindy had an idea most bodacious.
A wind turbine will turn that push into power in a manner efficacious. My idea is not complex, and if us Whos work together, we can transform this concept into our very own treasure.
Up on Mount Crumpet, the Grinch was concerned.
No coal to Whovillians, but that's money not earned. I know. If I drone on about baseload and make it confusing, they'll forget all this nonsense and go back to their hooing.
But Cindy Lou Who was not as dim as the Grinch had first hoped, and she checked with her friends to see how they coped.
In Whoville and Whyville, 20 clicks distant in a southerly line, they already get much of their power from a windy turbine. Their turbine works hard through winters and summers, turning wind into cash to support local endeavors. It creates jobs and investment, a most useful commodity, and keeps money at home within the community.
All of the Whos could see the Grinch was getting annoyed.
Listen, young Who, your thoughts may be right, but reality avoid. You see,
He said with a smile.
I have a monopoly, and don't you forget that it's coal I'm selling, so you will like what you get.
At that, the Grinch stormed back up snowy Mount Crumpet and into his cabin. His anger so great, he even ignored Max, his canine and only companion. He was troubled by Cindy Lou Who's perceptive insight, which, despite his best efforts, kept him awake through the night. As the cave started to warm from the sun's morning heat, the Grinch woke with a start. He'd felt his heart beat.
I realized that Whoville could do with a turbine, and with Max in the harness, we can deliver by 9.
So he packed up his sled with the wind turbine and tower, and, because he had only the one, fitted Max with that antler. Then he leapt in the seat, and off down the mountain they raced, and arrived in Whoville just a whisker before 8:58, with Max rested, recovered, and then pulling ahead. All Whoville, and Cindy Lou Who, followed the sled. They all quickly ascended nearby Mount Who, and put up that wind turbine and made it run true. As darkness arrived, into town they descended, where the Grinch and Max were heavily fated.
Our town is much richer for harnessing the wind, and now to us all, the Grinch is a friend.
So long as we have hands to clap.